G'day everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Ads and Dunks podcast, exclusively brought to you by the Ausmerican Aces. It's Josh, your host here, or Dunks as I should say, and I'm joined online by my good mate Adsy Treloar. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm a little bit tired. Quite unique for us. We're actually doing this on the Wednesday morning, where we typically do it on the Tuesday night. Because of internet reasons, actually wasn't for any other reason other than internet reasons where you are.
Well, let's strip it right back because I think it was your fault initially that you had a team dinner, and then
yes.
So we'll run everyone through it. So what's happened is Adsy's got a team dinner with the mids, which is all well and good, out in Newport. So couldn't do the podcast at the usual 7 o'clock time on a Tuesday night, and then he's like, "Righto, I'll get back. We'll do it after that." So 8:30 comes around, and then Righto and Tommy are working away with the Ausmerican Aces Club because we've got another couple of podcasts, which is actually really exciting. So make sure you jump on and have a listen to that. But then my internet, for some reason, at like 9:30 at night is not working. So I was a bit like, geez, what's going on here? Because normally it's your internet, mate.
Normally it's me. Normally it's me that's stuffing us around, whether I've got the microphone out or something going on. But no, it wasn't me. But you can't control that. We were committed to the cause, and we're going to do a 9:45 podcast session. But not to be. We're doing it now. I've got my nice lemon, honey, and ginger tea to soothe the insides in the morning and talk a bit of smack with you. So I'm excited. But how was your weekend anyway, other than footy?
Yeah, it was a good week. I mean, we headed to Perth pretty early, so last week was a pretty short week for us in terms of we left on Friday. So. Yeah, not too different, like as per usual, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But leaving Friday to go to Perth was a little bit different because normally you don't leave until the day before. So we left 2 days before the game and got to go over there and see some family that I haven't seen. So Dad's twin sister lives over there, and that's my auntie, and then obviously my cousins and uncle and stuff like that. So it was nice to spend some time with them, catch up with them. Went for lunch. I don't know if we went for lunch there when we were there for the grand final, but it was just on the beach there. Beautiful spot.
We did.
Went for a dip in the water. It was about 20 degrees or whatever it was. And then obviously played on Sunday. So it was a good week. Not too different, but it was nice to get over there and see them. What about you, mate?
No, that's good. It's one thing I miss about playing with you. I miss plenty of things playing with you. But one of the things I do miss is you seem to have Dunkleys in all avenues of Australia. And when we used to go to Perth, as you said, I used to hang out with you and the Dunkley clan. So, yeah, I do miss that. Last time I went to Perth, we tried to tee something up, but I couldn't get that done. So, who knows? Next time I'm in Perth or something, I'll be able to hopefully get down to see the Dunkleys. It's something that I miss doing. But my weekend was pretty good actually. I went to Brisbane after our game, which was been teed up for a while because the girls, Kim and Jess, were celebrating their 30th. So it was a great weekend. Had a really good night. There was about 20 of us that caught up, at Kim's, I think it's called Hotel X, I think is her hotel of choice. She's got a little bit of a sponsorship there. So it was, it was really cool. Went up to the top level. It was a little bit cold. I wish I brought a jacket because I reckon I got got a runny nose from it, just being a bit of a sook, but it was a little bit cold, but I had a really good time. Kaiser was there, had some good fun with Kaiser. Your partner Tipsy was there, obviously, but you weren't there, which sucked. But no, it was a good night. Was able to celebrate the 30th with the girls, and at the same time was able to spend quality time with Georgie. And as I say all the time, Georgie's just growing up super quick. Blows my mind some of the stuff that she says. Even that little saying that I was getting her to say, that saying where the old. Your dad or someone might have said it in your family where you say something like ridiculous and they say, "Oh, pig's ass." So I said it once. I said it once last week. I think Kim said something to me. I don't know what it was. Georgie goes, "What? Pig's ass?" And I was like, "Georgie, you can't say that." Now it's just a bit funny because when I stayed in Melbourne last week, when the girls left up, Kimmy's called me and gone, "Oh, Ads, the funniest things happen." So obviously Kim lives with her mum, Sina, and Sina said something. I don't know what it was, but all Georgie's replied with was, "Oh, pig's ass." And I was like, "Oh, no." No, kids just listen to everything you say. So, yeah, it was quite funny. Maybe I'll send a clip in her of saying it. I'll get Brado to cut it up and see what everyone thinks. But no, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. She copies literally everything you say. So you could say anything and she just copies you straight away, which is funny as. But no, it was disappointing. I was actually going to tell you when the invite came out for Kim and Jess's 30th, I was flat as, mate, because we're in Perth and it's like one of the only times that you were going to come up here. And I was like, oh, what are the chances of that happening? And me not being able to see you, mate, when you come up.
I know, mate. It's always something that we tee up, so it was a little bit disappointing. But no, we'll get our chances. I did subtly talk to Tipper about organising our little holiday. You, me, Josh, and Kimmy, and obviously Tipper. And first thing I said was, "Oh yeah, let's not bother. I'm not going to organise this because I suck. So I'll let Josh and Kim do it."
Hey, you got to sometimes take responsibility. You just put the hand up and say, "This is what we're doing."
No. You got to know your role, and I know when it comes to you and me, no one can organise anything the way that you can. So I don't need to bother. So I'm just going to leave it up to you and let you do that, because if I do it, I don't reckon it's going to be nowhere near as good as what you would do. So yeah, I'm just going to save it for you and Kim.
All right, leave it with me, mate. Leave it with me. What about let's get into the footy side of things. You go first because you played on Friday night. Mate, another big game for you boys, and you just turned it on at Marble Stadium against the Tigers. Yourself individually too, playing some really good footy, mate. And I know there's been a few people out there saying that it could be one of your career best seasons. So going really well, and run us through that game.
Yeah, no, thank you, mate. Appreciate that first little compliment. But it was a good game. I mean, felt like it was probably the first game that we've played 4 quarters, really. I mean, I think back to this year, I know Carlton, I didn't play. We played really well. And Adelaide in Ballarat, we played really well, 4-quarter performance. But it's really what we've been chasing a little bit, a lot actually throughout the year. And we haven't been able to deliver. And, Richmond, when they're up and about, are as good as any side. And, they showed that the week before prior to our game. They've showed it in glimpses this year, and they're still in the finals hunt as well. And we knew they were going to bring the heat. And, obviously Dusty being laid out and Dylan Grimes being laid out was a really big win for us, and obviously extremely unfortunate for Richmond. Trent Cotchin obviously was out as well. It was always hard for a team to play off a 5-day break. I know we've obviously always experienced that, and it's always a bit harder to get up for. And, so we were fortunate that they didn't play, but at the same time, you always want to verse against the best opposition. But yeah, we obviously took it, we took it as serious as we can, as we have to. We've been taking every single game as serious as we can, because we're not in a fortunate position to, lose games. We have to win. And, I just felt like the way we started and the fact that we were able to kick, I think, seven or so goals in the first quarter, and the way we were kicking them, I felt like we were, winning the ball back in really good spots and really hurting Richmond the other way, which is, sometimes you can get wrong. And in a lot of our cases, we get that wrong, and we just didn't. And it was one of those games where you kind of felt like the momentum was just going to keep building and building and building. And I never really felt like, we lost that, and it's great. And I feel like it could be, it's round 21, round 22 this week. It's hard to say a kickstart, but it can be a kickstart for us to finish the last 3 games with this momentum and really take it into the games that we have. And, we'll touch on obviously playing Hawthorn this week, but mate, they just obviously knocked off the league leaders in Collingwood, and we've touched on how good they are around the footy and, how good they're going to be. So, the fact that we were able to play that against Richmond for the 4 quarters is extremely pleasing. And, as you said, there's been, we've talked about Jamara throughout the year and Nordy and Bonte, but the spread of players over the weekend was probably the most pleasing thing as well. We had a lot of players play, to the best that they can play. And when they do, it shows, the results for us. So, yeah, it was a great result. Super pumped we won. Super pumped we were able to win again in another prime time slot, which is games that we love playing in. And, yeah, really looking forward to now the game this week.
Yeah, that even contribution really helps, doesn't it? For those out there that, may think that if 1 or 2 players play their best footy, say it's, yourself and Bond or Libba and Bond or whoever it might be, that's going to get you over the line. 9 times out of 10, it's not. So you need a full 22, 23 with the sub contribution, don't you?
Yeah, you're spot on, Josh. You look at like all the great teams that have won. I mean, Geelong's a perfect example last year. Like, they didn't have one absolute standout player. Like, obviously had Jeremy Cameron and Paddy Dangerfield's final series, unbelievable. Tom Stewart. But I mean, these guys weren't the only reason why they were winning. They had a whole, from the first to the 23rd player as a sub, you said, it's the reason why teams have success and win. And you could talk about years beyond and the Richmond years and Hawthorn and, Geelong and Sydney, these teams. It's because they've got a great group of guys who, when they do play the best they can and complement each other and help each other, gives them a good chance to win. So that's something we've been trying to chase all year, and we can't leave it up to too few in games, especially when games are in the balance. We have to be able to rely on everyone, and I genuinely believe and trust that the guys in our team, have the capability to perform when it's necessary and when the pressure is on and in the heat of the battle. So, as I said, we've just got to keep winning games, and it'll be no bigger challenge for us this week for the guys to deliver. And we're playing down in Tassie as well, which Hawthorn love to play at Tassie. So it's going to be a really good game for us. But yeah, as you said, mate, it's extremely important for players to be able to even out the balance for us in wins in particular.
Yeah, no, definitely agree with you there, and look forward to watching your game this weekend on Sunday, which we'll talk about soon. But I'll touch on our game before we move on. It was like I said, went over there Friday, and it was a good trip to Perth. Such a long way from Brisbane, man. I could not believe the flight, because from Melbourne, what is it from Melbourne? Like 4 hours to get over there normally?
Yeah, 4 there, 5 back. Yeah, it's about 3:45 there. Yeah.
Yeah. So from Brisbane, it was 6 hours to get to Perth. Like, there was a massive headwind. It's halfway to America, mate. I was like sitting on the plane. I'm thinking, geez, this is a long time. You get 3 hours in.
What'd you do on the plane? What'd you do?
I 6 hours. I just finished off a Netflix series that I was watching, and then on the way back, mate, we did crosswords. So I literally sat down with Huey and Lockie, because we were all in the same row, and we did crosswords for 4 hours straight. Felt like the biggest genius ever.
They are very, very rewarding, aren't they, Josh? When you do crosswords and stuff and you can get a word, you feel very rewarded with yourself.
Yeah, every now and then you get stuck and you're like, I'll just have a quick look at what this word is, and then you have a look around and you're like, oh yeah, there's a few that we could chuck in. But no, it was good. It was actually good fun. It passed the time by really well on the way home, and obviously after a win too, so that was nice. But the game itself was a tough one, and the Dockers have been playing some pretty good footy. They beat Geelong in Geelong, so we knew that they were going to come out and play, in a way that their season was on the line. Really, like they were still a chance. I don't know if they are now, but they were still a chance to make finals if they'd knock us off and then won the next few. So going out there, we were fully expecting their best, and as a team, probably there was a lot of us down up till half time, and myself individually as well. I was probably not at my best in that first half, and pretty crazy experience, because I'd never really felt not out of the game, but just not being able to impact the game in that way. And I feel like there was a few of us in that boat, and we talked about it at half time and just trying to be able to, refocus ourselves and get ourselves back on track and play the way that we wanted to. And I thought the second half especially was really good. Third quarter, we got some goals, but then gave them easy goals back, which was in our control. So the positive was there, but it was like, we're just slipping up a little bit, fumbling, little things were happening that weren't going our way. And then in the last quarter, I thought we played it out really well. So fought a good fight against a massive home crowd in Freo and their supporters. So it was nice to get that win in the end. And you could probably see on the TV how much it meant to a lot of us and how cooked we were, because we had to just grind our way through that game. And it was an interesting one, but nice to go over there and get the 4 points and get home. Yeah,
you've nailed that. It's no mean feat to be able to go over interstate and play. And as you said, going to Perth is probably I'll go on to Brizzy or Queensland. Brisbane's pretty hard when you're playing against you guys, but I think Perth, historically, for me individually, and I reckon you'd be the same, it's always been a really tough ground to win at. especially when, as you said, Freo's crowd, and when the West Coast are up and about, their crowd is very hard and, not intimidating, but very like, wow, this is pretty crazy when there's no one supporting us. We've been through that. The elimination final last year stands out the most, but so that's no easy feat. So it was an enormous win for you guys. You must get great confidence that, that you're able to really grind out games where when you're not necessarily playing well. And I know you said you weren't having the impact, I think offensively you mean, but, for anyone who watches you play, and I hope, all our Aces fans do, the defensive side of your game was still as good, probably, if not probably better than what you've done all year, because you're not getting the ball. You're thinking, I've just got to smother the ball here or like do something. And I felt like it was as good as you've done all year, because you could just see the desperation in your eyes and your body language, which is a credit to you. But saying you must get great, pleasure, and not just yourself, but a team, knowing that you're able to grind out a win like that when, you're all probably not necessarily at your best.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I mean, we talk about, if you're not having the impact individually that you want to, like being able to, like you said, put the pressure on, do something that, can help the team rather than, if it's not going so well for yourself, because you have those days as players. Like, I mean, some days you won't get near it. The ball will bounce the other way, or it'll go to them all the time, like the free kicks and stuff like that. Like, it'll just not go your way in general. So being able to do something is really important to help yourselves get over the line or get yourself in a position to at least be within striking distance. And I felt like that was what we had to work through throughout the game. And the first half especially was one like that, where, like I said, there was a lot of us down, and then boys just kept going at it, kept pressuring. For me, I probably felt like I was a little bit too reactive, and that made me have to defend more because I was probably a little bit of a step off. And I think other guys were in the same boat. So to clean it up in the second half and really be able to get that win, and then, at the end of the game to be able to use the practices that we'd put in place after the Melbourne game, especially when the boys went down there and lost by 1 point, I think it was. Like, we've worked on a lot of stuff there too with the end of game scenarios and stuff like that. So to be able to hold on in the end was really important for us, and a massive win, and gives us a lot of confidence, as you said, to win close games of football, especially this time of year and moving into finals.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it's probably something a little bit we can delve into a bit. Is, I guess, I probably will know the answer, but just for our listeners, for yourself, like what's going through your mind when you're not necessarily, when it's not going to be one of those days where you're going to get the ball, when you're going to have 30, when you're going to, be in that zone where the ball's just going your way and you're really working hard for every touch. What's going through your mind? What are you trying to do to get yourself in the frame of mind? Well, not in the frame of mind, but get yourself in a position where you still feel you're involved in the game and you're still contributing.
Well, for me, mate, it's exactly what you said before. It's all about defense and pressure and trying to get the ball to turn over for then our boys to win it back and then potentially maintain possession or whatever we might do. So I felt like, and I was that stiff because it just wasn't my day. I spent about 15, 20 minutes off in the bench in the first quarter, and then the second quarter, the sort of similar thing happened to me. So I reckon I probably played about 50% at halftime. But when I was going out there, I was like, it's obviously not happening for me today. So what can I do to help the team? And it's all about that defensive stuff. And, you would have seen me diving for smothers that probably weren't there, but just to, put that in their mind that they're going to be under the pump every time they get the football that's a good thing for us, because then they're going to rush possession, or they might, handball a little bit more. And Freo really do like to chain. So they like to keep the ball off you. Really, they have a lot of stats, and their midfield would handball it around a lot. So to be able to have that perceived pressure in their mind is good for us, because then they'll probably surge it, and then our intercept defenders can get the mark and we can go off there, which I think we actually did well on the day, was being able to score from our back half and then take it all the way length of the ground and then score down our end. So that was a positive. We probably got done around the ball a little bit, but cleaned it up in the second half, which was nice.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that was clearly evident with how you guys were playing, and it's a good little insight for you, with what people think, when you're not necessarily having a great offensive day, how you can still get involved. And you said, I've definitely seen that, mate. I've seen you diving for stuff that I think 99% of midfielders probably wouldn't dive for, but you seem to do it. But yeah, it's a credit to you to be able to stick that out, and then obviously still have that contribution defensively and have a major part to winning the game. So well done to you. What about any other results? Any other results catch your eye at all? Was there any other footy themes that caught your eye? I know you've always got something good for us.
Yeah, no, I watched a lot on Saturday. Obviously, the Pies Hawks game was a not a surprise. I felt like watching the game, I was thinking, geez, they're just doing the same thing to the Pies as what they did to us. And I really think, these last few games, especially like teams lower on the ladder than the opposition, are really getting themselves up for these games of football where they're playing someone above them. And it's like, the underdog mentality or whatever it might be. And it's like their grand final. I remember playing against the Suns last week, and a lot of their boys were saying, this was our grand final. We had to win this. So it's like they get themselves up for that game entirely and put everything they possibly can plus more into that performance. So it'd be interesting to see this week with the Hawks if they can back it up like they did on the weekend against the Pies, because they're obviously playing against you guys, and another good midfield where I felt like they probably won the game last week against the Pies in the midfield, and to come up against one of the best midfields in the comp is going to be a huge challenge for him. So that's going to be something that I'm looking forward to seeing unfolding. But the Swans Giants game as well was another good one. And there was just a lot of games on the weekend where you were like, I saw North Melbourne were beating Melbourne at halftime, like things that was just happening. We were just like, wow.
Yeah, I agree. Games that I've seen as well. What about obviously Nick Dacos hurt himself, and we always talk about this, and we hope and pray that he gets back soon because he's a champion of the game. And it's quite extraordinary because you and I have spoken about the amount of, I guess, hate that he cops from a lot of people externally, and the reason being, this is from fans, the reason being is because he's so good. And it's crazy that you see so many people trying to bring individuals down for, I don't know, just being good at footy. And from what we've seen of Nick Dacos, he's humble, he's team orientated, he's just seems like a terrific, young man who just loves playing footy and is a great teammate. And, seeing him go down, it's never fun for anybody watching the game of footy, especially, us being obviously rival players. We want to see, obviously, superstars of the competition to play. So we wish him all the very best. But I wanted to ask you, do you think now is an opportunity for someone to come and take the Brownlow from him? Because 3 weeks ago, we were saying it's over. Nick Dacos has won the Brownlow. I think betting in just betting markets have dropped off Nick Dacos and saying that he's not going to win it now, where I think he's probably – I still think he's got too far of a lead to win, and I think the only realistic person who can catch him is Bont. But in saying that, I still think Dacos is in a massive lead where Bont has to get probably 3-3-3, which he probably will because he's playing unbelievable footy at the moment, Bonty. But what about you? What do you reckon?
No, I kind of agree with you. I think Dacos is like a couple of games ahead of everyone else, but I do feel like I don't know. I don't know if it's as close as what everyone else thinks it is. Like you talk about Bonty, I reckon he'd be up there because his last 6 weeks has been really, really good. But I wouldn't be surprised if right now, like someone like a Butters or a Petrarca or someone like that, even like Lockie Neal, someone like that,
Taranto.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Taranto, like if they're closer than what everyone else thinks, like everyone thinks it's Dacos and Bont. I'm thinking there's more to it. I think there's a couple of players that could pounce at the end of the year and take the Brownlow off Dacos. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm with you. I agree with you. I feel like he's that far ahead at the moment that no one probably could catch him.
It's going to make the count very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see as well when he does get back. Hopefully he gets back in time for the finals because, as I said, he's a champion player and we wish him all the very best. What about it's easy for you, mate, because you're going to finish top four. So teams like myself and the 8 other teams, whatever it is, that are vying for that top 4 spot. Who, in your opinion, I know I asked you a couple of weeks ago, but I love asking you because it just keeps changing. Who, in your opinion, is going to make that bottom 4
Part
of
the 8?
the top 8? Yep.
Oh, I think All right, I think I've got the teams. I think the Blues are going to make it in no particular order. I think the Blues will make it. I think that you boys will make it. I think Geelong will make it,
Two more.
and I think the Giants will make it.
Oh.
That's my tip.
So that means teams like St Kilda won't be there, who have a good run, have a solid run against good opposition. Adelaide is still in the hunt. There's Essendon still in the hunt. I hope I'm not missing anyone. Freo might be, maybe, but I don't think I've ever seen a season so close. Like, honestly.
No, I think it's great. It's awesome for the game. Like that last round got released a couple of days ago now, and I think Sydney play Melbourne on the Sunday, and then there's a game. Port Adelaide play someone on after that, maybe.
Yep. Yeah. Standalone
all these games are like back to back, and they'll have the live ladder. You can just picture it now. They'll have the live ladder there, and then every goal that the team will kick will just be like bang. They'll go up, down, up, down. It'll just be funny. Be cool to watch.
And it's great for the competition, as you say. You always want like even competition and teams playing meaningful football and not it being meaningless in a way. So yeah, mate, it's unbelievable how close this ladder is. I mean, we were pretty much ninth going into this round, and then Richmond, they're obviously still there as well. So there's another team. So we were pretty much ninth, and then we jumped up to fifth, and now we're back to sixth. So it's unbelievable how close the year is. And as I said, it's really cool for the league. A couple of other things, because obviously we love our we love giving shout outs to some of our rival players and players we've played against. Two champions of the AFL, Luke Shuey and Ben Cunnington, both retired this past week. Jack Zeeble obviously retired last week as well. But I know, as I said, we love touching on players that you've seen and been like, oh, wow, they've had moments where you've maybe been on the field and gone, whoa, like this player's a star. Did you ever have a moment with Luke Shuey and Ben Cunnington? Because the reason I'm bringing it up, I did. I had several moments with those two because they're right in my age bracket and they've had some unbelievable performances. And it's crazy now, me being 30 and obviously you're still in your prime years, they're retiring, just showing me that I'm just getting older. And I think back to some of their performances where they, Luke Shuey won a Norm Smith against me. Ben Cunnington had some unbelievable games against us. It's just, pretty crazy that, they're retiring now. But were there any games that you played against those guys that ever stood out to you?
I can remember one with Luke Shuey. He got me a fine because he pushed me into the umpire. That's one that at a stoppage we were like on each other, and I was like, the umpire was backing out, and he sort of just used the umpire as a bit of a block for me, and I just ran straight into the back of the umpire. I copped the fine for it too. So that's one of my memories from playing on Luke Shuey. But no, there's plenty of moments where he, dominated games. Especially when West Coast were flying, I thought that he was one of the big leaders in that. And Ben Cunnington, mate, like I remember playing on him as a 19, 20-year-old, and just walking up to him and his calves being as big as my quads, like. Mate, he was just an absolute unit, and you just could never move him. And the biggest thing for us was like to try and get him out of the hit zone, and you could never do it. He was just so strong. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. I seen this stat yesterday. North Melbourne put it up. It was North Melbourne players to have 20 contested possessions in a game, and there was like 3 players that had 1. Then there was like maybe 2 players that had 2. Then it was no player in 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 21. And it was Ben Cunnington, 21, like 20 times, mate. Had freaking 20 contested possessions, 20, mate, unbelievable. And yeah, as we said, 2 stars of the game. And it's crazy because this time of year, there's just retirement's going to keep coming and you get a little bit older, and I'm getting closer to the end. So, I just thought I'd put it out there. It'd be pretty cool. But games this week. A touch on our games this week. I'll let you start. You guys have a big one against the Crows. Prime time Saturday, or is it 4:35? One of those.
It's 4:35 on Saturday, and yeah, like you said, against the Crows up here at the Gabba, which we're looking forward to. They beat us last time, so we're out for a bit of revenge this week against them, and I think they might get Rankin back, so they're going to have some big ins. But yeah, they've been playing some really, really good footy and touched up Gold Coast last week at home, and have had some wins over the last 6 to 8 weeks, and close losses too to Collingwood and Melbourne at the MCG. So we know that they're a pretty good travelling side. So we're going to have to be at our best on Saturday. I feel like we'll say it every week, but the game will be won. I feel like the front half turnover game and trying to maintain territory and build up that pressure is going to be really important. But looking forward to the challenge because, like I said, with Freo, they were still in the hunt. Adelaide are well and truly still in the hunt. So if they can come up here and knock us off, then keeps them alive and probably puts them inside the top 8. So, looking forward to that challenge. And we've got a pretty tough run home. We've got them, and then we've got the Pies, and then we've got the Saints. So all teams that have been going pretty well and either up there or within a chance to make finals. So no better preparation for us than to go out there on Saturday and play against the really hungry Crows that are going to be up for the fight.
Yeah, you're spot on, and it's probably the last. Other than the Gold Coast game, where you guys were probably convincingly beaten, it's probably the only other game where you've probably been convincingly beaten, right, against Adelaide this year.
Yeah, I felt like the Adelaide game we had more inside 50s that game. So we just kicked. I think we kicked 0-9 in the second quarter or third quarter against them.
Yep.
So we probably should have won that game. I think the other game, there was 2 other games that stand out to me. The Port Adelaide game in round 1, they smashed us. Yep. And then the Hawthorn game after the bye, they smashed us too. So there was probably those 3 games, Port, Hawthorn and Gold Coast. The Adelaide game for me was a little bit like we probably could have won that game, but we just didn't finish off in front of the sticks, and they were really good in taking the ball full field to score, which I know they've been doing over the last few weeks as well. So going to have to be on defensively to stop them from doing that.
Yeah, spot on. Do you take, when you review against the team you've already played this year, it could be a silly question, but it could not be because you haven't played them in a while. Do you review the last game you played against them, even though it was, I don't know, like 10 weeks ago, or do you review just their recent form?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think we do a bit of both. We definitely do how they've been playing and then sort of married up with what we saw last time, because the way they beat us last time was, like I said, they took the ball full field and our defense wasn't really on as a team. So making sure that that's, really set this week, and we've been defending pretty well. Hopefully we can do that on Saturday and really lock it in our front half and kick scores from there, kick straight. Like we didn't really do that last time. So looking forward to that game, mate. But touch on yours, big game down in Tassie, as you said earlier, against the Hawks, who, have knocked off some good sides this year and playing some pretty good football. Beat the Pies last week. How do you see that playing out? And do you think you might get the tag this week?
Oh, hell, no way. No way. I don't get tagged, mate. It'll be Bont, but even then I don't think you tag Bont because you can't. It'd either be Libba or Bailey Dale or Bont. Definitely not me, mate. No way. Those days are long gone. But no, it'll be a good game. It'll be, as you said, they're good footy, because you can't necessarily say they're flying, because they'll have a game where they won't play well, and then they'll have a game where they'll blow a team out of the water. I think just they're finding that inconsistencies at the moment with a young side as well, and the scariness about him is when they do click, there is, mate, unbelievable. And the game on the weekend was evident. They've beaten obviously you guys as well and had some great wins. So we've just got to be prepared for that, and we've got to be prepared for Hawthorn to bring their best. And I think we will. I think, we're going to take a lot out of the game we've just played on the weekend and try and bring that into the game this week and let it be the benchmark for us going week in, week out. We know Hawthorn like to play in Tassie as well, and they've got a great record down there. So, we've just got to bring that want and that hunger to want to win and play longer for 4 quarters and play at a high level for 4 quarters. So, we'll preview them this week. I know they've got a great centre bounce team, great midfield. I think Ned Reeves is a great centre bounce ruckman who can hit it anywhere, and he complements Will Day and Newcomb and James Warple. Chad Wingard's playing great footy at the moment, who comes through the middle, but is just playing really, really good footy. James Sicily is probably, in my opinion, should be all Australian, even though he's missed 4 or 5 games. He's just, their most valuable player, and it clearly shows when he's playing his best. So we're going to have our hands full, but we're going to prepare for it well, and hopefully we can play the brand for longer the way we did on Friday and get ourselves a good win because we need to keep winning. I reckon I'll be able to, clearly watch your game and, hopefully you guys win. That means we're going to win because our streak is, I think now 16 out of 16 or whatever it may be. And we didn't touch on that, but you had me a little bit nervous in that last quarter when obviously I was watching you play against Freo. So I did think, no, they're going to win here because it's just destined. This is the way it's going to be. So, hopefully you guys can win. That means that gives us one little leg up, and hopefully that means contributes to us winning.
Yeah, I think it's 16 from 18 or something. It's 93% chance of happening when you win, I win, or if I win, you win. So pretty cool. But no, as you said, looking forward to that that game on Sunday, and it's going to be I think it's going to be a good watch because two teams that Hawks are flying and going really well, and playing against you guys who are obviously hungry to make it into the finals and shore up your spot in there. So looking forward to that one, mate. Is there anything else you had to talk about from the footy side of things?
No, I'm not like you. I'm not as controversial like you, where you pull up an umpiring decision or something that would have pissed you off over the weekend. But no, nothing really for me. I did want to quickly do our because we've done it each week, our midfield, our forward, and our defense. We've got to quickly do that now because I've had some good messages sent through about our teams, and I sent you the link yesterday. Do you want me to go first or you go first?
Well, I've already thought of it.
Yeah, you go.
So I can go straight off the top if you want.
Okay, just so people remember, it's $18 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you've got to pick your team. You've got 6 players to pick, and it's the defense this week.
Yep. So I'm going 2 big ones. I'm going sort of similar to what you had last week. I'm going with Darcy Moore for $5, and I'm going with James Sicily for $5. That's $10. And then for $4, I'm going to take Harris Andrews as my big lockdown defender. And then so now I've used 14, so that's 3. I need 2 1s and a 2. So I'm going to take Isaac Quainer for a $1.
Ooh,
I'm going to take Nick Vlossen for $1, and then I'm going to take Lockie Whitfield for $2. That's my $18.
Okay, so you've got Isaac Quainer, Lockie Whitfield, Nick Vlossen.
Yep.
They're essentially your medium to smalls, and then you've got Darcy Moore, James Sicily, and Harry Andrews.
That's it.
Pretty good. That's a great team. That's hard to beat because the funny thing is the first 3 players you picked were the first 3 I was going to pick.
Oh, well, so go for it, mate.
I'm going to go I'm going to go against that. So I think Sam Taylor's criminally underrated.
Yep.
He's always been underrated the last couple of years, so he's my first pick. I think Tom Stewart, again, is, he's going to be a, Hall of Fame Geelong player, superstar. So they're my 2, $10. Then I'm going to go another criminally underrated player who's in All-Australian contention, Callum Wilkie at $3. So they're my 3 big, sorry. And then I'm going to go my teammate Bailey Dale for $1. So that equals $14. I've got $4 to spare. And you know why? Because this guy's probably, out of him and Bailey Dale, the best ball user here, Jack Sinclair. He'll be my other pick. That'll equal $18.
So you got Sam Taylor, Tom Stewart, Jack Sinclair, and then you've got
Callum Wilkie,
$3. Yep.
Bailey Dale.
And who was your other one?
And did I say something? Oh no, I had $4. So you know what? I'll go 5 defenders. That'll do me. No, that means I've got to take out Jack Sinclair, and I'll go Braden Maynard, and I've got $1 left, so I'll go. Oh, how's Nick Vlossen $1? You went him. Isaac Quainer's $1. I'm going to go Isaac Quainer. So he's the only one I'm copying with you.
All right.
So listeners, get it in. Tell us who you think's better. I know it's probably going to be Josh again, but oh well.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah, you tried, but mine was too good, so you couldn't really match it. But that's all right, mate.
Next week we got one more, and it's the big one where you've got I think it's like $100, and you've got everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got to dedicate a good 20 minutes to that. I can't wait to do that. Another quick little start bench cut for us. Got to do it every week. This will be a quick one. And I'm actually going more down my alley this week because we haven't done one for me. But you can pick first, start bench cut. NFL. It's quarterbacks.
Oh, okay.
Okay, ready? So
Ready.
there's Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. And I'm asking you from a fantasy perspective. I'm not asking you from a team perspective, wins, losses. I'm asking you from an NFL fantasy perspective because they're different to me.
You'd be proud of me. I did a mock draft with Charlie Cameron and Darcy Ford and Cal Archie on the weekend, mate. Did a mock draft.
Mate.
Yeah.
I've been asking for a mock draft for 20 weeks. Oh, that's good. That means after this, I'm doing a mock draft.
We were sitting there after the game having dinner. We went to a restaurant after the game. Bus dropped us off, went into this restaurant. We were sitting there waiting for food, and we were like, let's do a mock draft. So we got into it. But now it's the start bench cut. I'm going to go from a fantasy point of view. So starting Jalen Hurts, benching Josh Allen, and cutting Lamar Jackson.
Okay, I'm the exact same, and that annoys me because I actually can't argue that.
We can agree for once.
No, but I don't like it. From a like just the NFL point of view, not from a fantasy. Would you change your opinion?
Yeah, I'd probably put Josh Allen at the top, and Hurts I'd bench, and then I'd still cut Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I'm the exact same too.
Well, how good's that, mate? That's beautiful.
Maybe we are similar in that regard, and I don't always have to be right. Well done, mate.
Yeah, you can say that I'm right for once in your life. I've got you. I've beaten you.
Yeah, true. But that's a good one. Oh, mate, it's been a nice little shorter episode for us, but a good episode for us. As I said, we were able to fit this in on a Wednesday morning where it was nice and early for us. But have a great week, mate. I hope there's another win for you. Hopefully I get a win. Thanks for everyone for listening. As always, we're coming towards the end of the season, and we're going to keep continuing, obviously, doing our episodes all throughout the final series. But yeah, as we always say, loving the support that we get all the time. I had, just quickly, Jamara Ugelhagen messaged me on Saturday morning, and I was in Queensland, but the boys had a Western Bulldogs like a day out clinic, and one of the kids, well, not one, there was several, he said. Several kids came to him and said, mate, you've got to do the A celebration when you kick the goal. And I was like, wow, that's actually pretty cool. So even Jamara's getting around it, and he said he's promised an A celebration for us. So I'll make sure I get in his ears, and hopefully he does it first time, rather than the second or third time like you and I did. But yeah, it's another great episode, mate. Hopefully everyone listens and has a great like. Make sure you get on, subscribe, listen, keep rating us because we've still got that giveaway. That's going to come. It's going to come. Trust me, it's getting there. But yeah, it's a great little chat again, mates, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Thanks, mate. Same here. All the best on the weekend. Thanks, everyone, for listening.